Love yourself, which is another part of this whole people-pleasing thing is, and I see this so often.
What is that?
And that is that people, unfortunately, are afraid to see themselves as a person who they know they're becoming. And so they please other people because their self-worth is tied directly and entirely to the compliments from others.
So if they don't get praise and compliments, they are not doing well.
Okay, so let me clarify. It's okay if, and you tell me if you disagree.
Okay.
But it's okay if people get praised and like being affirmed by other people. But if their self-worth is entirely connected to the praise from others, then they will find themselves people-pleasing.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
Hey out there, family. It is time for the Self-Talk Experience. And it's Thursday, so I'm sure that you're listening and watching on a Thursday. Right, babe?
That's right. If you're watching or listening to this on the launch day, then it's every Thursday. Set your clock. Put it in your calendar.
Yes.
So you know what? Every Thursday, unless you work on Thursday or perhaps, you're like, hey, I just can't on Thursday.
No, you listen to it on Thursday afternoon on your way home. It's Thursday. It's always Thursday. It's always Thursday.
Hey, that's when we launch a new episode. And can you believe we've been doing this since December now?
I cannot. It went by so fast.
Yeah. And if you've gone back to watch this, perhaps this is 2024. You're like, I'm just watching this right now. We were talking about December 2021. We actually launched this self-talk experience.
Yes, this is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, what do you want to talk about today?
So today in this episode, and it should be a fairly short episode because this is something that you can actively shift. Like today, like right after you watch this episode, you can say, you know what, I do that. And that's the reason why I do that. And I don't like when I do that. And because I've learned that it is virtually impossible, not impossible, but close to it, to reach my goals with this particular burden, that I need to stop. You know what that is?
Yep, I do. People pleasing.
People pleasing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we want to talk about people pleasing. And I am pointing at myself for those who are listening right now. If you're watching, you're seeing it, because I fell into this for so long, and it made my goals feel like they were elusive. Like I felt like I was right there and man, missed them again. I
know there are a lot of aspects to people pleasing, but I feel like you're really leaning towards not being able to say no.
Yeah. That's correct.
That's you.
Yeah. So people pleasers have a problem with saying no. They feel like they have to say yes to everything. And so what happens to their calendar?
Well, they don't have any time for themselves or their goals because they're concerned about being there for everybody else. Yeah. And that's hard because how do you make that okay?
Yeah.
Because it's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
It's very kind to be that person.
This is perfect.
Right?
All right. No, but check this out. The people who are people pleasers confuse kindness with people pleasing.
So that's what I'm doing right now. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. And so people are like, well, it's mean if I don't do it. Right? Or selfish if I don't do it. Yeah,
because you think, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to be able to manage if I don't do it, if I don't help? Then you feel guilty and you feel bad if something doesn't happen for someone you care about because you weren't there for them.
Well, so let's not confuse serving others.
Okay.
Being there for others. Okay, so let's break this down. So most people who are suffering from being a people pleaser are doing this because they want to be accepted. They want to be liked. They have a low self-worth. And so to be accepted says, I'm more important now. People
want to be around me.
Exactly.
They need me.
Right. So they even agree with things that they should disagree with because it goes completely against their morals and their values.
But they're quiet about it because they don't want to cause conflict.
That's exactly right. So they end up doing these things to their own detriment. Right. So then they don't even want to eat all of that because everybody else is eating. They're eating and it's to their own detriment. Right. Unhealthy foods because they're wanting to be accepted in that group. Drinking and maybe they don't want to drink that much. Right. So what happens is it's either low self-worth in many cases, not all cases.
Right.
People please or suffer from people pleasing because they unfortunately have been mistreated in certain relationships. And so they find that the best way for them to be treated kindly by the person who's been mistreating them is to actually do things for that person so that they're treated kindly, not mistreated. So now they're trying to please that person so that person no longer mistreats them. And now people pleasing becomes a habit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking along the lines of, well, I have to because what are they going to do? They need me.
Right.
And I need to do this for them to make myself feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this is why you have to be careful because let's say you set some goals.
Right.
And you say, my goal is to hit this weight goal, this body fat percentage goal, this business goal, financial goal. And when you look at your calendar, everything in your calendar is about helping someone else to reach whatever their goal is. Or maybe it's not even their goal. It's just because they asked you for a favor and you said yes. And nothing in your calendar points you towards the goals that you said you wanted this month, this year, that day.
But is there a thin line, like you said, between people pleasing and going for what you want to go for? How do you figure out how to separate that?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So here's part of the challenge. We think, because we all fall into this trap. It's easy to fall into this trap. We think that we're responsible for the emotions of others.
That's good.
Watch this. So yes, our behavior has an influence on how people feel. But ultimately they get to choose how they feel.
But you don't want to be the cause of hurting someone's feelings.
That's correct. That's why what you said is a thin line. So you're absolutely right. And that's why when I figured this out, and it took me some time to get here because I'm like, well, I got to do this for this person, but they didn't want it for themselves. I wanted it for them. Right. So how many times do you have to have a confirmation? People like, I'm just waiting for confirmation. You've been confirmed like 20,000 times. Right? Listen, it's a red flag. Stop pulling out your green crayon. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that at some point, and this is so tough, especially in business, especially when you get serious and focused on a particular goal, it is so important that you're not being mean to anyone. This is we're not talking about being kind or mean. We're talking about the ability to say no. I'm not in a position to do that right now. Right. And it's not even that you can't, it's that you choose not to. But you just have to figure the right language so you're not intentionally hurting feelings. But people figure stuff out.
Well, I think I'm thinking back, babe, and one of the dots for you, I remember you were missing some event for one of our kids to do something for someone else. And you missed it. Yep. You didn't go, didn't ride with us, whatever it was. You stayed behind to do something for someone else.
Right.
And then they called you and said they couldn't show up because one of their kids had something.
Right.
And you were like, wow, I was giving up something for the same exact thing they're not willing to give up.
Yeah.
But you were sacrificing on your side.
Right. But here's a crazy part about that story, because I remember it, is that I was sacrificing in a season of my life where I no longer had to sacrifice. I was sacrificing because I was attempting to get them to a place that they told me they wanted to get to. So I was willing to take the time to give up, which I no longer had to give up that time. I could have made our son's event, but I gave up that event because I wanted so badly to help them to reach that goal that they had set. And they were like, Ms. Self, I really want this. If you could just help me and meet me. And so they wanted me to meet with a couple of their partners. Right. Which I agreed to. I showed up to meet with their partners. They weren't there. So what I'm saying is I had already reached a certain level of success that they had desired to reach by giving up what they refused to give up. And I was still willing to give up something for them, and they weren't. They weren't even where they wanted to be.
And that's tough.
So that's what I'm saying. So that wasn't mean for me to have a conversation with them, because I did.
That's what I was leading up to.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't mean. I just, let them know, hey, look, you're not yet in a season where you're willing, your goals and your actions are no longer congruent. Right. So you either have to change your goal or change your actions.
Well, I just feel like situations like that and similar were the cause of you saying, maybe I'm people pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there were certain dots.
Yeah,
in turning
absolutely.
Points. Yeah. We'll talk about a couple more of those when we come back. So, hey guys, if you're people pleasing right now, make sure that you shift the things you're saying to yourself. Right. Because sometimes we're saying things like, I don't want to be selfish, and you're not. You're focused. Right. You have made a decision to create a better version of yourself, and so we're going to shift some of those things you're saying to yourself.
That was really great. That was really great.
What?
Talking to yourself, saying, I don't want to be selfish, but changing that to say, I am focused.
Yeah.
What a great affirmation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Those are all, and we'll go through a few more things that I shifted what I said to myself, and it attracted different goals. It attracted different results.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what's up with your T-shirt before we go to our sponsor?
Do you love the T-shirts? I'm so excited about our T-shirts.
Yeah, self-talk.
Self-talk.
The things I say to myself about myself.
Yes.
It's key. And you got to talk good to yourself. You got to talk good to yourself. Hey, so check out the link and order yourself a self-talk T-shirt so that you remind yourself that you're going to say some good things to yourself all the time.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, fam? You got to connect with J&E Builders. They buy homes in any condition. J&E Builders even help out with distressed properties. And if you're dealing with a significant amount of taxes, J&E Builders will assist you with that home as well. Give them a hit at J&E_builders. That's at Instagram at J&E_builders.
Hey, Self-Talk Experience family. If you want to do some great shopping and get great finds like this, follow my girl, thebrianna.k on Instagram. And if you want to shop, go here.
So author and trainer Monty Sanders has been in this health and wellness space for over 20 years. His most notable clients are NFL Hall of Famers Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. And guess what? He's got an Amazon best-selling book that you can gain access to right now. It's The Power of You versus You. I'm going to tell you right now how you can get access to that and his other programs. All you have to do is go to thepowerofyouversusyou.com. That's it. Thepowerofyouversusyou.com to get access to that amazing book as well as all of his other programs. Hey, what's up, Self-Talk Experience family? Listen, I thought I was going to get some bathrooms renovated, but I had no idea when I connected with my man Stan Neal that it would be more than a renovation. I'm not even sure what the term should be. Maybe transformation, because I started with the bathrooms and all of a sudden my entire basement was redone in a way that my family members thought I moved. Seriously. So if you're looking to take your house to the next level, whether it's some custom construction, some transformation of your bedroom, your bathrooms, your family room, your great room, I did it all. I mean, if I showed you my entire house before and after pictures, in fact, I'm going to show you some, you would say, no way is that the same room or the same house. Listen, I'm just saying this because I've got personal experience with this gentleman. So you want to connect with him, I'm going to give you the number, his office number to reach him, as well as email. And again, you will not be disappointed. So if you want to reach him via his office number, 202 202-359-3923. Again, 202-359-3923. And email is Stan, STAN.Neal, NEALJR @FreshAirLLC.com. Connect with my man Stan. You won't be disappointed.
We are back, guys, and we are talking about people pleasing. And I was thinking, babe, one of the aspects of people pleasing is actually acting like the people around you. It's okay to be different and have personalities that are similar, different. But when you actually act like the people around you because you want to be accepted, so you want to do everything they're doing, a lot of times it could be to your detriment.
Yeah.
If it's not positive, right?
Yeah. A lot of people do that to fit into that social setting, to make other people feel comfortable, because that's people pleasing, right?
Right.
Making other people feel comfortable. So people even shrink themselves and dwarf their goals, because depending on who they're around, they don't want those people to feel like they're trying to overshadow them, like they're trying to make them feel small, but they're not. They're just like, hey, I love me.
This is me, but they don't really act like their authentic self.
That's exactly right.
Because they don't want to shake up the room.
That's exactly right.
And they want to fit in.
Right. That's exactly right. And this is why it can be self-destructive.
Right.
Right? People pleasing can be. It can be self-destructive because all of a sudden you're not you.
Yep.
And the people who know you, they're like, why are you acting like that?
Why are you talking like that?
Right.
Where did that come from?
Now, if it's pulling you to a better version of you.
Absolutely. That's
right,
great.
That's different.
That's
right?
great.
Because at that point, you're not doing it to please people.
Right.
You're like, hey, look, I'm stretching to become the new me. I'm outside my comfort zone right now. Right? This isn't the person I was 5 years ago. I'm no longer. But if it's causing you to adjust from the person who's the authentic you, meaning that you've got morals, you got values, like these are things I stand on.
Right.
But to avoid conflict, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to pretend like I agree with that when I know I don't, because I want to be accepted. That's people pleasing.
And that's separate than peer pressure even. That's different. It's very different.
Yeah. And it really can go hand in hand though, because if you are pressuring me to, I don't know, go joyriding, actually, again, wanting to be accepted. So I'm trying to please this group of friends of mine who I know that they're not doing what's best for me, but because I want to be accepted,
and I'm
actually trying to please. Yeah.
And I want to hang out with them.
It can go hand in hand.
Right.
And this is why, self-talk is important for kids. We talked about this in one of our previous episodes, how kids, most of them have healthy self-talk as soon as they start to talk, because they say things, they're creative. Like, mommy, I'm building a big house, mommy. And then we say things, we actually cause them to think about reality when that was their reality. Right. Right. And we cause them to see our reality, which is sometimes dwarfing their goals. And it's sad, but again, that environment, and we talked about this, how most kids aren't picking the school they go to. They're not picking their religion. They're not picking their language. They're not picking their environment. They're not
picking the cousins they hang around or the close friends.
It's all forced on them, right?
Right.
And so their self-talk, they start, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm creative. And so somebody may say, hey, look, stop talking to yourself. Or don't say those type of things. Yeah. That'll never happen for you. Our family, we just don't, we don't have those type of things. Yeah. We'll never have those type of things.
Right.
So hopefully you'll buy your whole family some self-talk T-shirts. So your entire family start to think about the things they say to themselves. And you'll say, look, don't make yourself small.
Right.
Love yourself, which is another part of this whole people-pleasing thing. And I see this so often.
What is that?
And that is that people, unfortunately, are afraid to see themselves as a person who they know they're becoming. And so they please other people because their self-worth is tied directly and entirely to the compliments from others.
So if they don't get praise and compliments, they are not doing well.
Okay, so let me clarify. It's okay if, and you tell me if you disagree.
Okay.
But it's okay if people get praise and like being affirmed by other people. But if their self-worth is entirely connected to the praise from others, then they will find themselves people pleasing. Because so what happens is at some point you've got to be able to say to yourself, I am this. Right. I see this. Right. Right. And so you see yourself as beautiful. You see yourself as successful. You see yourself as whatever it is you want to see yourself as, right? You speak these things. And so you feel good without anyone having to tell you, you should be feeling good.
You just have to get to a place where you can encourage yourself.
That's exactly right.
And sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
But you're saying if you aren't at that place, then you could fall into being a people pleaser.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I want to act like I'm that smart and I discovered that myself.
No.
It was self-discovery based on an article I read about psychologists who said that in their therapy, they found that a lot of people who fall into people pleasing is rooted in them having a low self-worth. So it's not rooted in them trying to be Mr. or Mrs. Popular.
Right.
It's rooted in a low self-worth. And so they please people to be accepted. They please people to feel liked. And they need other people to say, oh, you're a part of this now.
So now they're accepted.
Exactly right.
Right.
So until you find yourself in a place where you affirm you and you start to build yourself up. And again, this is why I said it can't be entirely connected to affirmation from others. It's okay if you want to be, and you should be around people who affirm you. You should be around people to say, look, I see you as the next millionaire.
Absolutely.
I see you breaking the curse in your family that's, never owned a home or never, right? So it's good to be around people but
you can't count on it.
That's exactly right.
Yes, I got it.
That's exactly right. So this is a time, guys, that we need to do some self-evaluation and say, am I falling into any of these things where, unfortunately, not hitting my goals because I'm only thinking about pleasing other people. And I'm putting myself, unfortunately, in a place where I'm putting the oxygen mask on others before I put it on myself.
It's so good, though, to bring this topic up because you may not even think that you're that way. Yeah. And after considering, you may say, wow, maybe I am doing that.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I'll end with this, baby. I remember when I first started having a little success, financial success, and someone called me a sellout.
Wow. Because
I wasn't going to the same places, hanging out the same places, doing the same things. They're like, you ain't coming? Nope. You not going? Nope. You didn't see this? Whether it was watching a particular event on
game
TV,
or a movie, right?
I don't even watch TV anymore, right? So it was like, oh, you selling out, man. You done changed. And then a mentor of mine said, Darnell, sometimes you got to sell out to leave out to come back and help out.
Wow.
And I think about all the blessings.
You say that all the time.
Yeah, all the things we've been able to do to contribute to the same communities, to empower the same communities that would have called me a sellout, right? And some did, but would have called me a sellout, except they see now that, wow, man, it's so worth it to give up something that really doesn't benefit you long term, to be able to gain what does benefit you long term, to go back and help out those who have been dealing with fleeting satisfaction like you used to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well said, babe.
Go buy yourself a talk good to yourself T-shirt, hoodie, or something, so that you can remind yourself that you are a king, you are a queen, you are a champion, and the best is yet to come for you.
Yes. Always talk good to yourself every day, especially on Thursdays. See you next Thursday.
See you guys. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.
If you've ever started something and said to yourself, I'm not quitting until I reach the finish line, there's a perfect podcast for you. The We Won't Quit podcast by my man, Mike Humes, mailman and millionaire, never gave up. Not only did he have success, but he's helped a ton of other people do the same thing. He's going to be interviewing people who never stopped until they finish. So check it out. We Won't Quit podcast.